any organization that does what you guys do for the community. I mean, something I think we can never have too much of. So thanks for having me again. And well, you heard about my resume, but just to give you a little more background about me, I am from here. I'm from Englewood, grew up in Rotunda, on Annapolis, since 1990. And, I just love it here. I moved away to go to college. We don't have any colleges here. And then it took me a while to find the right opportunity to move back, but I was always missing home. It's a totally different world on the other side of the bridge. And to be back. But how much time do I have up here? Well, I'll start out by talking a little bit about the chamber, what I've been doing since I've been there, and then where we're going. So this is actually an exciting year for the chamber. It started in 1941, so this is the 80th year in existence. Quite a while, quite a long time, but we're not slowing down yet. We cover Cape Bays, Englewood, Placida, Grove City, Rotunda, South Gulf Cove, and Manasota Key, and we have just under 700 members. So that's kind of where we are. I've only been on the job since January 8th. Started on a Friday, so kind of sink my teeth in and then start the following week, off and running. It's a lot. We didn't really have a budget in place for 2021, so that's what I spent my first week doing. Getting the budget in place and looking at it, and we're in good shape. I mean, the chamber is strong, so there's nothing you need to worry about there. I have seen some room for enhancements, and that's what I'm excited to see, moving forward. So as was mentioned in my introduction, I've been lobbying for almost 10 years at the local, county, state, federal levels, and that's one of the assets I plan to bring to the chamber. Well, I'll just keep going with my script. I'll stick to the script. So I reached out to FRLA, the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, my first week, and went to one of their meetings. I'm sitting on their board now with the owners of Lock and Key and Farlow's and the Convention and Visitors Bureau and a few others. But it gives us that additional voice, but it also creates power in numbers. The more people you have on a certain topic, the more power you have. So that's one thing. I also like to create partnerships. I had somebody come in, I think my first or second day, and he said, "I'm starting a new business. What do I do?" And I'm like, well, I could tell you what to do where I'm from, but I'd have to, do a little research here first. So I reached out to Charlotte County Economic Development, and they provide those services. So why would we try to compete against them or recreate the wheel when they're already doing it? So I went to them. I asked if they could have somebody in our office once a week, maybe once a month, just so our members could come in and talk to somebody. And they were super on board. They were very receptive. Right now, they're only doing Zoom meetings, so they're not going to be physically in the office, but they'll be there via Zoom if anybody needs. This is for new businesses. This is for existing businesses where well, especially now, I don't know. I know access to capital is hard. They can help you with that. They partner with the Small Business Association. So I mean, if all three of us partner together, I mean, the opportunities are endless. So it's just about providing those resources and that assistance to our members, which is what we're all about. I can't do script. So, the chambers of commerce, what they are known for, what they started out as the information centers. Over the years, they've kind of morphed into social gathering event organizations, and those are great. We love it. We need it. Networking is important, but we also need to remember where we came from, and we need to get back on track as far as providing assistance. I know we do marketing and promotion, and that's great, but there's certainly ways to enhance that. I mean, between new technology and just staying on top of, it's an ever-changing environment when it comes to marketing and promotion. So, bringing that not only to the chamber, but to our members. So I know there are a lot of for example, like speakers at Learn at Lunch or whatever it may be, to bring in something. I know this chamber's, worked in the past with Google, with Pamela Starr, and that's the type of stuff that I think is very beneficial. And I want to bring more of that to our members because, again, they join a chamber to get that out of it. It's nice. It would be nice in a perfect world if people just join the chamber to support the chamber, but we have to provide, a meaningful, something worthwhile back to somebody that would make them want to invest in the chamber. So that's what I'm looking at. Again, I stated our chamber is in really good shape. 27 chambers closed in the state of Florida alone last year, due to a lot of things, the pandemic and more. But that wasn't the Englewood chamber. The Englewood chamber is in good shape, and I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that, that it's it's rough out there for chambers, but we're on the right track and only getting stronger. Um, as for what I want to do when I, come in here, I explained a little bit what I'm doing, but at least for a while, I mean, I haven't even been to a business card exchange yet. I mean, I don't want to come in here and start changing everything. Um, again, since we also have a strong chamber, there are things that are working, but I do want to, again, make some enhancements. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. So we have to, again, stay up to date on all the new changes and technologies and strategy and things like that. Um, I've heard, from a couple of our members already in the short time I've been here that, workforce is an issue, getting qualified workers. So that's something that I'm going to look at. I actually created in my last role, I created a workforce development strategic plan. It was geared towards the hospitality industry. Because again, the hotels couldn't get workers, let alone qualified workers. But that is something that can be changed. It can be geared to pretty much any industry. So bringing that here and trying to, again, create those partnerships, work with Career Source, work with the technical school, and try to create these partnerships to provide an additional benefit to our community. I can go on and on. I don't know if there's specific questions or needs that you all have. But again, just to kind of recap, there's a lot that the chamber can be doing and is doing. I mean, I'm not saying it's not doing anything. It's obviously, like I said, strong. But advocacy is huge, whether it be the local, county, state, whatever level. I mean, honestly, I used to work most of my time at the local level. I mean, our state is in pretty good shape when it comes to business regulations. I mean, we are the best state for business, second to Texas. So there's really not too much room for improvement. However, there is. But a lot at the local level, I was pretty excited to hear from like the Charlotte County Economic Development, even the Visitors and Conventions Bureau, on how receptive they are to businesses. So that's a nice change to where I'm from. We basically used to have to fight tooth and nail for anything business related. But that's not the case here. They're willing to listen and they want to work with us to figure out how to make it better for businesses to open, but not only to open, but to succeed. So, there's advocacy, there's the partnerships, and then there's the events, which we have, but looking to build on those, again, integrate maybe some new technology into it. We got Zoom now. But just like I said, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. But my job isn't really to, create the ideas. My job is to listen to the members and figure out what they need and what they want and provide that to them. I know you've seen one Chamber of Commerce, you've seen one Chamber of Commerce, they're all different. So I know this one's different. And I also know after sitting in the visioning session at the, Visitors Convention Bureau for 2 days, that we have a unique destination. And I knew that. I mean, I'm from here and that's why I came back. But as far as where I'm from in St. Pete, their Visitor and Convention Bureau was Hackaman. Numbers We want to have the highest numbers of visitors in the state. We want everything to be about visitors, visitors, visitors. That's not the case here. Visitors are important. I don't know if you read the article that I wrote in the paper last Monday, I guess yesterday. In Charlotte County alone, visitors save taxpayers $703 a year. That's just at the county level. At the state level, it's an extra $1,500. So tourism's important, keeps our quality of life, good. It pays for, it brings in tax money for our local governments to clean up, public space, make it look nice. It saves us money in taxes. It's the reason why we have all the restaurants and shops we have, because us residents alone are not enough to support them. But we can't go heavy on tourism. We have to maintain the thing that makes us unique from all the other beach towns in the state, because the whole state's surrounded by beaches, but what makes us unique? And that's our hometown, small town feel, our welcoming vibe. And that's something that I hear from basically everybody as something we want to preserve. And I think we can do both. So with that, I'll take any questions that anybody may have.
On that subject of tourism, advertise.
Deb, we can't.
Yeah,
I
I
can
know.
repeat the question, but I didn't really hear. Is the question what's the chamber doing to
Membership?
increase visitors or?
Yeah, tourism in the area. And
Well, the Visitor and Convention Bureau is what draws in the visitors to Charlotte County. Once they're in Charlotte County, that's the chamber's job to kind of, get them what they need, be their resource as far as finding things and things like that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's more that we can be doing. For example, I'm only aware of a database in the chamber of our members. We should be collecting information visitors too, and non-members. I mean, we can have different communication. Obviously, they're not going to get the same communication that members get, but that's an avenue. Those are people. Those are people that we can be attracting, whether it be to our businesses or to our area in general. But yeah, I mean, again, we're not going to be. The CVB is really where we look to. That's why I went to that strategic planning session, so we're all on the same page, so we're not working against each other. And that's what came from the Visitor Convention Bureau, is what I just said about being unique and maintaining our small town vibe. But again, that doesn't mean we can't have visitors. I mean, we have visitors. So I mean, we need to do what we can to make our businesses successful, and that includes tourism.
On the workforce development, what challenges do you see or foresee going forward with the $15 an hour wage increase? You're gonna get that one.
Well, I am proud to say, I advocated hard against that in Pinellas County, and I know it passed at the state level, but it needed 60% to pass. It only passed at 60.80%. I don't know. It was close. Pinellas County, it actually did not pass in Pinellas County, so that's what I was proud of. I advocated hard against that. I created business cards that I would hand out to the workers. I put it in a billfold at restaurants when they collected the check, and I had bullet points with our website on it, and they can learn more. Social media is amazing what you can get out these days, especially with the Facebook groups where you already have groups of people. But again, I'm getting off subject. To your point about what can we do now that it passed. Unfortunately, things are looking worse at the federal level. I mean, even though it passed at the state, it's in the middle at the state. We got 5 years before it becomes $15 an hour. But from what I understand at the federal level, it's going to happen all at once. And again, what can the businesses do? I mean, that's why we advocated against it. It's going to put a lot of people out of business.
federal level, right?
Now it is. Now it is.
Correct.
Yes, currently. But who knows? I mean, what happens once Congress gets together? if, anyway, I'm getting off.
That's okay,
But,
you know,
but yeah, so what can you do? I mean, besides cutting employees and reducing, overhead, I mean, there's possibly, depending on what your business is, there's new technology you can bring in that could, again, it'll cut somebody's job possibly, but, it might save your business. There's things that they're looking at the legislative level, at the state level, but it's kind of like symbolic. It's kind of like our legislators acting like they're doing something when they're really not. I heard them say, oh, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so um, like tipped employees would be earning a flat rate and um, the business would just collect the tip. Already do that. That wasn't something that they're creating. That's already allowed, So, I mean, people might not have been aware of it. They might not have known they could do that. So they're creating attention about that. But as far as them changing anything, that's already allowed. It's a bad situation. I wish I had something positive to say, but that's why your chamber is important, and that's why we need to make sure business is strong, because there's nothing worse than having your prices increase astronomically and then not having anybody, the business to support it. You need to have that increased business. So that's what the chamber's here for, and that's what we're here to help.
any questions on Zoom?
I have a question comment. First, I'd like to say welcome, Doug. My name's Janet and I'm a realtor in town. So if you're looking for a house, no, I'm joking. Seriously, here's my question. So as the chamber is such a vital part of Englewood because we don't have our mayor, we don't have, city officials. So everybody really, really, really goes to the chamber and leans on the chamber so much. I have customers that come into town, they buy a house and then they're lost. They don't have a place to go find out where the kayak groups are, where this is, where that is. I know that Kim does a fantastic job when she sees it on Facebook and sends out links for contractors or things. But I was just kind of thinking it would be great as a realtor to say, hey, once you buy, go to the chamber and they've got a list of all of these things or a group event coming up for just people that are new or etc. I just really feel like we're missing out with our growth that we're having. I feel like that's something that would be beneficial.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, that's what the chamber is here for. So, I mean, we can develop it something not only to make your job easier, but to benefit the overall community and the businesses. Yeah, I mean, that's something we can definitely do.
Well, I see that Doug brought some of the chamber guides here with him as well. And, I think, and I always did, is, we use those in our businesses. As you said, it has a listing of, it's a good place to start. So if they don't know, at least the basics are in there. And then they could expand on that and they could go in or ask questions. So Janet, it might be worth you picking up a couple boxes of the community guides and sharing those with each of your home buyers and even prospective.
Yeah, and we're actually we're creating our new community guides now. So we're selling ads if anybody's interested.
Karen, would you bring one up so I can show them mine?
But you're right. I mean, I come from, our number one industry was tourism, and that's all they cared about. Yet I still, as a chamber, spoke to all of our realtor groups. I mean, because visitors come here, they visit here before they buy. Nobody's going to buy a house without visiting. Well, most people nowadays it's crazy, but everything's changing. But yeah, I mean, so we understand we want to make it the best place to live, work, and play, all encompassing. And that's why we live here. So definitely we want to share our story.
But I also think that that kind of lends to your question as well, Janet, is that if we were able to start collecting different lists of whether they're visitors or are they snowbirds or are they, just different segments, then that gives you an opportunity as a business to be able to market to those segments. I like that idea. Alfred.
Kind of relationship that created or part of around the changes that we have, like Fort Charlotte, on board up, chambers, had a chance to engage with it.
Yeah. Actually, so on the FRLA board, I sit with the Punta Gorda Chamber, and then when I was in the 2-day visiting session at the Charlotte County CBB, well, the Punta Gorda Chamber was there, but also I met the Charlotte County Chamber CEO and Venice. But I also looked at them because I have ideas about things, but again, I don't want to turn everything on its head. So I have been looking at the surrounding chambers to see what they're doing to make sure we're all kind of in line, I don't necessarily, when it comes to certain things, obviously when it comes to leading edge, technology and being the forefront of advocacy and, just being the resource, like Janet said, we don't have a local government. And again, that's an important part to make because I came from Pinellas County that had 24 municipalities in one county. And I can tell you without a doubt, those municipalities did not help at all. And they made it very difficult for everybody, whether you're a business or a resident. We had contractors out on St. Pete Beach that wouldn't even do business. You couldn't get a fence installed at your house on St. Pete Beach because they couldn't get a contractor to come out there because it was too difficult to deal with the city. That's not like that here. Charlotte County building permits, they are pretty good. And I'm just looking forward to building that relationship. But to get back to what we're doing with the other chambers, yes, I've been looking at engaging with them. I think once a year we have that tri-chamber event, which is good because it kind of brings 3 chambers together and that enhances the networking opportunities. So yeah, we're definitely working with the other chambers.
The community is split in half, right?
Well, I mentioned Venice. Yeah, well, yes, and I just haven't had time yet, but I'm going to. But yeah, as far as Sarasota County goes, definitely get involved with their county and TDC and the Venice Chamber. The Sarasota Chamber, I work closely with them because I was a part of the Florida Association of Chamber Professionals, and they had regional meetings. So it was Tampa, St. Pete, Sarasota, Manatee, that would meet regionally. Okay, good, because I was gonna, yeah, well, that's,
I think in Sarasota County, because we're South County, we're kind of like the redheaded stepchild. We
yeah,
kind of get overlooked.
especially with Dearborn.
both ways.
Right, right. Well,
Right.
yeah, I think it's more so, I personally think it's more so on Sarasota side, but yeah.
Well, I'm excited to start making those relationships. I mean, that's what I did throughout my prior life, my prior role. I mean, it was all about the elected officials and the county employees and building those relationships. And I mean, when, they work for us,
That's
so a lot of
right.
people forget that. And I was an elected official too. And I got involved because I was just so sick of talking to elected officials and they say, yeah, and then they don't do anything. Or, they say so many times I say, well, it's so difficult to work with the city, why don't you do this, this, or this? And they're like, well, we can't do that because the city needs to make money or something. And it's like, you work for the people. Did you forget that? Like, I think some of them did. So, I have no problem reminding them and, getting work done. Right.
Anybody else on Zoom have anything that they would like to comments, questions? Anybody raising a hand? Anybody else in the room? All right, well, now you know who he is and where to find him. So please do if you have any business questions or anything like that. And thank you very much for coming in and talking to us.
Hey, anytime.
And
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna
having
sneak
me.
in here, just trying to be, so before you sneak away.
Oh.
For your participation today, we would make a donation in your name to Polio Plus, which is Rotary's main project that we're working on, which is actually probably gonna turn into some form of a COVID type of thing. I think Alfred wants a picture. If you wanna just stand up there, that's fine, we can just do it this way. Yes.
Yeah, social distancing.
Yeah, social distance. There we go.
Properly. All right,
Well,
and thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it. Okay, and you guys have plenty of those on hand at the chamber for,
Absolutely.
okay, so anybody who wants to go pick up books from the chamber, please do so.
Well, I think the sales, the sales will be done in February, and I think that at the end of February.
Okay, we're just talking about the new books coming out end of February, beginning of March-ish.
Yeah, so by the end of the month, ads are done. And then
Okay. Well, thank you again, Doug. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna move on. So we have any happy dollars, sad dollars, any self-promotion?
Yeah, I got a happy dollar.
Alfred's got one.
I got a happy dollar. I'm gonna give a happy dollar. Honor of Doug being here with us and congratulations on the new opportunity.
Yay. Congratulations, Doug. Yeah, just use the, sorry about that. Anybody online have any?
Got
Tracy does.
5 happy dollars, or I should probably say 10, or 14, because I've been on Weight Watchers for a month and I've lost 4 pounds. So yay!
Congratulations. Great job.
It's so easy. I always said, why do people go on those dang Weight Watchers? That doesn't work. Well, apparently it does.
Yeah.
And then,
Alfred said if you want him back, come see him.
yeah. And then also I went dress shopping with my daughter this weekend and she found her perfect wedding dress.
Congratulations, yay.
She doesn't have a date or a place, but she's got the dress.
The important part for her is done.
Yes.
Awesome. Anybody else? No other happy, oh, Karen's got one.
Well, it's not really a happy, it's kind of a challenging dollar. Friday or Sunday when we were watching the Bucks game, all of a sudden we heard this like a crash. Right into the house, and so we looked outside. No, my closet decided that it didn't want to hold my clothes and everything, and 2 huge cracks.
Does that tell you something?
On the floor. So guess what?
Little less shopping?
Yeah. I mean, books and clothes, shoes.
Yeah, I got sick.
Oh, my Lord. I just stood there and I said, all right, I have to pour a glass of wine. I did.
Twice they did.
That's right.
It was so
Why did
awful.
Wine and duct tape.
Oh,
That's funny. So did you spend your whole weekend then putting it all back?
Sunday, no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's all laying on the guest bed. Because I mean, literally, it pulled off the wall and scratched the wall. So
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna rethink what it.
Right?
Uh,
Awesome. Anybody else? Do you have anything to add? Okay.
Wait,
Oh, Jennifer's gonna pull one out.
$50. Thank Janet Shaw for selling my house.
Thank you, Janet. You sold Jennifer's house. Congratulations. Although we should have said that that's not allowed. That's a sad dollar too.
yes.
'Cause that means you're leaving it.
Sounds like Janet can afford a Paul Harris fellow now.
Oh, wait, that's,
Go Rotary Foundation.
yeah, that's supposed to be my line.
Go for that much.
There you go.
I
will
just want
put
to
in
give a
happy
shout
dollar.
out. Oh,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to get a shout out. Brownie is on the Zoom call. We hadn't seen her in a while. So hello, Brownie.
Welcome back, Brownie.
Hi,
Good to see
everybody.
you.
Finally made
Did
it.
have you had an opportunity to get signed up for a vaccination yet?
Been trying for about 4 weeks, 3 weeks now, and no, tomorrow morning's my early morning to try again, so it's really
Okay,
frustrating.
okay. It is, I know. I'm trying to keep tabs on what's going on there. Anyway, so I will put in happy dollar as well. We had a great weekend. We got out, did a little exploring again, and we went down and did strawberry picking, which I've never done before. And some of the most beautiful berries that I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, just amazing. And I will be going back and doing it again. So,
That was in Benita Springs.
yeah, at Farmer Mike's, and he does different crops. We got peppers and stuff from there too, and he rotates crops. And he does a lot of U-Pick. He has a little farm stand there that you can buy stuff from. It's kind of similar to Hunsetter's, but not, if anybody's familiar with Hunsetter's, I would say less commercialized. So it was really a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. And yeah, now we're eating strawberries. So. Okay. So moving on, we have a whopping $3 on the 50/50. All right, we'll have Doug pull the ticket. Yeah.
192592.
Ed got it. All right, congratulations, Ed. All right. So anybody else have anything you want to share? Brenda?
Did you want to mention anything about that idea I sent to you?
Why don't you mention it? Because you have more details than I do.
Well, I pitched an idea to Deb because every year I'm supposed to do events here, and a lot of you know about my health fair that I do every year, which of course I can't do this year. So I was trying to come up with something else, and Brookdale has what they call, they have a flyer that says Rocket for Charity, and it's supposed to be for Alzheimer's in November, but I got to thinking about it. Why not do a virtual event and call it Rock It Out, and we can make like $10 entry fee, kind of like a walkathon, only people just sit and rock, and you can do it through Zoom, like I said, because my Zoom, I can have like up to 500 people on it. But have a sponsor fee of like $10 entry fee, a donation, and then they could get sponsors for it. And, so many minutes, just like the walkathons. And my pitch was to do that and have the Rotary Club be one of the beneficiaries, but also to kind of split it with the Meals on Wheels as a beneficiary, because we can do like a 90-10 or something like that for the Meals on Wheels, but most of it would come to the Rotary. So I'm kind of throwing it out there, because if we do this and we commit to having the Rotary as one of the benefactors of it, then I need some help getting the word out. My thought was, if people pop on Zoom here and there, just kind of have loud music, telling jokes, having fun, that sort of thing. And I'm open to more ideas too. This is just my spiel, what I come up with.
And
so far.
my comment back to Brenda this morning was that I'm not opposed to it. Even if it's not a significant maker, I think it's also exposure for us in the community to get involved with the seniors, which I think is a good thing. As long as there's not a negative impact, I don't see why we wouldn't. But my other question that came to mind is, does Brookdale not want to benefit from this?
No, we can't. No, the only thing that the benefit for us would be the exposure. Getting, keeping Brookdale Rotunda out there in the face. So that's why I say on the flyers, I kind of made a mock one up, but I could do sponsored by Brookdale Rotunda. And then, like I say, the benefactors would be the Rotary Club and Meals on Wheels. And then we could use the PayPal account to run things through. And then when we get all done, we just cut a check for the Meals on Wheels portion that we. Right. And the reason I say to include them is because then you're going to get a lot more people who will participate because of the Meals on Wheels and knowing what they did. But I mean, like you have the Rotunda group, Rotunda West group, Facebook group. We could throw it out to the What's Happening Englewood, all of that stuff. But so I would need help getting the word out. But you figure even if we got 100 people to do it, I mean, that's $1,000, right?
Right. And kind of that's some of the discussion we've had at the board meetings is that, some of our fundraisers are probably going to be smaller fundraisers that might get us a few $1,000s here and there, and not these great groundbreaking fundraisers. We know that there's going to be an impact with the Arts Festival on the income side. It's going to be for both sides. I know, EYF takes a piece of it and we take a piece of it. It's not going to be what it was. When we have less vendors, we're probably going to have less visitors, although hopefully not. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But our financial position right now is pretty tight. And we've done a good job, I think, of stretching and not spending, but we're also trying to do good in the community, which, we found other ways to do that. But the financial piece is always a big help too. So if anybody is opposed to that, please let me know. I think it's a great idea to go ahead and try. Even if we only got $500 out of it, the effort on our side is just either participating or sharing the information. So that's pretty
I don't
simple.
think it's really very heavy in expense.
Correct.
Expense.
Correct.
What'd she say?
It's gonna be enough for periods to participate.
Right. She's talking about the
Get
expenses.
somebody else, get other people.
Mhm. So basically the expense to the club, the way that Brenda's explaining it is because we would use our PayPal account for people to process. I'm sure Brenda would have people that would send a check directly to her or whatever for some of them, but the majority of them, because it's an online event, would go through PayPal. So we would absorb those fees out of whatever we benefit from.
Yeah, we
Correct.
wouldn't have any expenses. I mean, it's just out of that $10, PayPal, it's a 30 cent plus 2.2%. So you're talking, we'd
Correct.
net like $9.50 per entry.
Right.
So there's, as far as expenses, there really wouldn't be.
Okay. So I don't think anybody is exposed
We talking about 24 hours. Rock.
for the event. I think she's thinking of a couple hour span. I think you said 3 hours, correct?
Yeah, I said 3 hours.
So that people could have an opportunity to either come in at the beginning and they can visit periodically, or, they have a time frame that they can come in and not be held to one specific time.
And also contact me
Mhm.
for other Rotary clubs in the area. I mean, our whole district.
Right. Right, exactly. Okay, I say we go for it. If anybody's opposed, that's, heard the pitch, please say so. Otherwise, I think we move forward. I don't hear anybody chiming in, so. So I say, let's go ahead and do it, Brenda. See what we can do with it.
All right, I'll get things rolling.
Okay. One last announcement that I have before we'll wrap this up is you saw in the 2-minute, or not 2-minute Tuesday. I think of the chamber in my Monday motivation, because I do Monday motivation. So I'm proposing, I want to do our troops packing, but I know we need to do it different. So what I'm proposing is I will bring in the large flat rate boxes to the Elks here when we have our meetings for the next month for February. And my challenge is that take a box, take it home and pack it. Whatever you want to pack in it is fine. It doesn't have to be expensive stuff. I have a list out there that I put together. It will reduce our mailing substantially, which we kind of need to do anyways, because we don't really have funds to do that. But it's also still going to participate. I'm also asking, the LA Angel Interact Club is looking for a project to do. So I'm also asking for them to participate in whether they just do cards or whether they want to pack a couple boxes themselves. That's fine. Whatever they choose to do is fine. If you are not coming to meetings and don't want to get a box, you can get a box from the United States Postal Service. You can order them online. But if you do not, you can send us a donation. The donation can be either towards filling a box or towards the postage, either way. And at the end of it, if there's a shortfall, I will make up the difference in the postage. So
the club will still mail them.
correct. Okay, Patrick is offering to pick up any packed boxes if you're not going to make it here to the meetings. So you have all month, basically. Yes, Carol.
You want the largest box?
A large flat
The
rate.
largest one. Okay. Got it.
Yep. And I have some few things in the storage and from last year, not a lot, but a few things that I can kind of fluff up boxes with. There again, it doesn't have to be major. It's just something to put a smile on their face. We still have people overseas. And they're probably getting a little bit forgotten right now with all the things that are going on. So, just think about if you were away from home for a period of 9 months to a year or longer, what would you miss? What would you want? And just those kinds of things, just be simple things, but it really does make a difference. I heard that. So anyways, I will have boxes with me next month, starting next meeting. So, please grab one and take it home with you. So I think unless somebody else has any other announcements, we are good. All righty. Alfred, do you want to lead us out with the 4-way test?
Always test for the things we think, say, or do. Number 1.
Is it the truth?
The truth.
Fair to all
Fair to all
concerned.
concerned.
Will it build
Build
goodwill and
goodwill
better
and
friendships? Will it be beneficial
beneficial
to all concerned? Is it fun? All right, thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Thank you, everybody on Zoom. Brownie, it was great to see you back.
Good to see everybody.
All righty.